long into the future. So we believe that Ecuador is that place.
Hayati Ghosh, catalogada como una de las mejores economistas del mundo, es catedrática de la Universidad Jawaharlal Nehru de Nueva Delhi y editorialista del periódico inglés The Guardian. Allí publicó, en enero pasado, una columna en la que destaca el actual modelo económico-político de Ecuador. Un resumen de su artículo fue difundido por la red de noticias en tiempo real, que se transmite por Internet y se apoya en satélite y televisión por cable.
Welcome to the Real News Network. I'm Paul Jay in Washington. One of the countries in Latin America that is not talked about very much, but perhaps, and some people suggest it is, one of the more interesting models for development on the globe, and that's Ecuador. Very interesting. International Living magazine just selected Ecuador as the #1 place in the world to retire. Now joining us, and recently returned from Ecuador, now in New Delhi, is Jayati Ghosh. Jayati teaches economics at JNU in New Delhi. Thanks for joining us, Jayati.
It's a pleasure. Well, here is a tiny country with only 14 million people. So you would imagine that this is a country where very little can be done.
Right.
And I discovered when I was there that in fact they have had not just a transformatory approach in terms of how they want to shape development and where they want to take the economy and how they see the economy functioning for the people and for nature rather than for finance and for capital, but also that they've taken very specific steps which many other countries can do. Before 2009, Ecuador, the government was getting about 13% on average of the total oil revenues. And the companies, the foreign companies, were getting 87%. They passed a law in July 2010 that completely reversed the terms. So now the government gets on average 87% and the companies get 13%. It's actually extraordinary that they managed to do this. There are 18 oil companies operating in Ecuador. 6 of them said that this is unacceptable and they left. And the government basically said, well, goodbye and good luck. They took over the oil fields of the companies that had left, but 12 of the companies decided to stay, which means that it was still profitable for them. And now, as a result, the Ecuador government gets a massive benefit from any increase in oil prices.
Now, the other big issue was what the taxation. They've actually started collecting taxes from the local elite, which is also quite unique in Latin America.
Absolutely. What is actually most surprising is that despite the fact that oil prices have been so high, and despite the fact that they changed the terms of these oil contracts, in fact, tax revenues have increased faster than oil revenues for Ecuador's government. And that is really a tribute to the massive tax enforcement drive that they undertook from 2007 onwards.
Anything else you want to end with, Jayati?
Well, no, just to repeat what I said at the very beginning, I think what is most inspiring about this case is that even if it doesn't succeed more than what it already has, it shows that you can do a lot if there is internal political demand for it. And you don't have to worry about the global conditions in order to transform things within your own country.